Imagine a world without light, where your only reality is the suffocating press of wood, stale air, and unending darkness. This was the reality for Colleen Stan, a young woman whose trust was shattered in the most horrific way. In 1977, Colleen, just 20, was hitchhiking to a friend's birthday party in Northern California, a common, trusting act of the era. She accepted a ride from a young couple, Cameron and Janice Hooker, who seemed harmless with their baby in the car, but the friendly facade quickly vanished. Cameron pulled off the road, threatened Colleen with a knife, and forced her into a wooden headbox that blocked her sight and hearing. Her world disappeared, replaced by terror and disorientation. This was just the beginning of a 7-year ordeal, one that would test the limits of human endurance. The Hooker's car, which seemed like a lifeline, became the vehicle of her captivity. Colleen's trust was weaponized against her, and her journey to a party became a descent into darkness. She was no longer a hitchhiker. She was a prisoner, hidden away from the world, and her nightmare had only just begun. At the Hooker's home, Colleen's new reality took shape. A wooden box, coffin-sized, became her prison for up to 23 hours a day, hidden under the couple's bed. She was deprived of light, sound, and human contact, her existence reduced to basic survival. Cameron forced her to sign a slavery contract, stripping away her identity and enforcing strict, brutal rules. Any disobedience was met with punishment. Her life was dictated by her captor's whims. To ensure obedience, Cameron invented the Company, a shadowy organization he claimed would torture her and her family if she tried to escape. The fear of this fictional group became Colleen's mental prison, paralyzing her with terror. She believed escape would doom her loved ones, making resistance unthinkable. The box was her physical cage, but the Company was her psychological one. Colleen's world shrank to darkness, silence, and fear, her old life erased by lies and cruelty. For years she endured, convinced that any act of defiance would bring catastrophe. After years in the box, Cameron began letting Colleen out for chores and childcare, even allowing her outside. To outsiders, it looked like freedom, but it was just a new phase of control. Colleen had chances to escape, even visiting her family, but never signaled for help. The threat of the Company was so real that she believed running would mean death for her and her family. This is trauma bonding, Stockholm Syndrome, where the mind aligns with the abuser for survival. Small acts of kindness from Cameron became lifelines, deepening her dependence. Each night, Colleen voluntarily returned to the box, believing it was the only safe place. Cameron's psychological warfare was complete. She was a prisoner in body and mind. The illusion of freedom only reinforced her captivity. Her will to resist was broken, not by chains but by fear and manipulation. For 7 years, Janice Hooker was both accomplice and victim, trapped by Cameron's control. Guilt and fear grew until Janice realized the cycle would never end unless she acted. She confessed to Colleen, the Company was a lie, a tool Cameron used to control them both. For Colleen, the truth shattered the invisible chains that had bound her for years. With Janice's help, Colleen made a quiet, desperate escape, calling a bus station, then leaving with money Janice provided. On a day in August 1984, Colleen finally stepped onto a bus and left her prison behind. Her freedom came not from a dramatic rescue, but from an unlikely alliance and a whispered confession. Janice's decision to break her silence was the key to Colleen's escape. The nightmare ended not with violence but with truth and courage. Colleen was free at last, ready to reclaim her life. After her escape, Colleen struggled with trauma, unable at first to report Cameron to police. With support, she found the courage to testify, helping bring her captor to justice. Janice testified against Cameron in exchange for immunity. He was sentenced to 104 years in prison. Colleen's story is one of survival, enduring unimaginable torture, yet emerging with her spirit intact. She now shares her experience to help others understand trauma and inspire hope. Her journey proves that even after the deepest darkness, light can return. Colleen Stan is not just the girl in the box. She is a survivor who reclaimed her name and her freedom. Her resilience forces us to ask, could we survive such darkness? Colleen's strength shows the human spirit's capacity for endurance is almost beyond comprehension.